Hey YouTube, Brandon Ascari here from Ascari Digital's Content Creator Academy. Today we're actually not going to be doing news. What we're going to do instead is take a look at questions, comments, and concerns from all of you. If you're ready, let's dive in and take a look at the first of 3 questions. I'm not beginner on editing or filmmaking. I know all thing about it. I just want to know what to do to start working and which website is going to be able to get commercial projects and stuff like that. Thank you for submitting that question. I greatly appreciate it. I could give you some advice on that. What I would recommend is using some paid platforms. If you go on free places like Facebook and you go on one of their pages for filmmaking in the community, which is not a bad idea, it's definitely a good place to start. The only problem is anytime you have a free platform, your competition is enormous. So you might find 10,000 people in that group if there's 100,000 members applying to one job. So you're going to find that it's very difficult to find work on there because there is so much competition. When you go to a paid platform that is less expensive, say Staff Me Up, which is one of the ones I use, there's less competition on there. There's more competition than a more expensive site, but less competition than a free site. So Staff Me Up is a good place to start. There's a lot of work on there as an editor or filmmaker, anything that has to do with production. And I believe they even do things outside of production too, but definitely worth it. I think it's like $10 or $15 a month, which is very inexpensive compared to my next recommendation, which is the one that I primarily use, and that is Production Hub. I'm not sponsored by any of these people by any means, but Production Hub, and that costs, I think it's $600 or $700 a year, whatever it is, but it is completely worth it. Production Hub is the industry standard for finding freelance work in our industry, as well as even non-freelance, like full-time work as an assistant or a camera operator for like a television studio or something like that. So that is the creme de la creme. You will find the best and highest paying gigs on there, but of course you have to pay a premium to get access to those as a regular Joe like us. So that would be my recommendation. Either if you want to go the free route until you start making a little bit of money, you could try Facebook. Don't be discouraged if you don't get picked up for gigs on there. I still never get picked up for anything on Facebook unless it's a recommendation from a friend. Then you could go to Staff Me Up. I do find a little bit of work on there. And then the most expensive, Production Hub, that's where I find the best work. It's the least amount of competition, still good competition, but there's more work available to the fewer amount of members that they have. It is an amazing, amazing platform, and I highly recommend that you use it. So let's take a look at our next question, shall we? I want to be an actress, but I can't seem to get my foot in the door yet. I'm confident, I'm on the radio, I've done plays in college and high school. No one wants to work with me because I don't have an acting reel. Can I ask for advice where to get started, even as an extra? I'd be willing to do it for free. And I agree with that statement completely. Usually in the beginning, you will have to work for free. If you're looking at doing something in the acting world, the best thing to do is volunteer for student films. If you go to a couple of colleges around you, I'm in the New York area, New Jersey, so you could go to Columbia, NYU, you have access to huge film programs. So if you go to, say, Columbia or NYU, they actually have casting websites specifically for their student films. You could go on there, volunteer your time, which is definitely not a waste. If you do 3 to 5 of those projects, then I guarantee out of those you will have enough footage to cut together a 1-minute reel, and then you could use that to apply to more paid work. So you could probably 1 semester's worth of work or a year, and doing 2 semesters, you would definitely be able to do 3 to 5 films with all the colleges that must be local to you. There's universities everywhere and they all have film departments, acting departments. You could get in there, do that, no problem. Then what you're going to want to do is get on Backstage, Actors Access, something like that, and use that as a way to apply for acting jobs. Now, student postings may be on there. You may have regular paid opportunities on there, whatever it is. Make sure that you apply to it, even if you don't have a reel. What I would recommend is look at that page. See what they're looking for, read the story, try to interpret the character without reading any lines, and maybe do a self-tape with your phone or whatever camera you have access to, and just record yourself doing a monologue or something that is in that genre or style that they're looking for, and use that to send if they don't give you sides and request you to do a self-tape for the script. So then those are ways that you could start from the ground up and work your way up towards those better, higher paying opportunities. I would definitely do that as much as I can, but most importantly, the one thing I would recommend though is don't give up on yourself. This industry is one of the most challenging but highest rewarding. When you finally get to that throne, that mythical, magical land of Oz, it is one of the greatest feelings in the world, and I hope that all of you are able to experience that. But with that said, now we're going to go to the last one. Ready? All right. Are you sure? I love filmmaking. What stopped me from going to film school? My friend. When I was young, I admired a friend because he graduated from university and he was a major in filmmaking. He was talented and won documentary awards. However, life wasn't easy for him since he entered the entertainment industry. People took advantage of him and used his talents. His name was never known to the audience and he barely got by financially. I'm younger than him and he is now nearly reaching senior age. He told me he regretted and seldom talked about filmmaking anymore. I felt very sorry for him. And that is a terrible story, a tragedy in our industry that happens way too often. It's something that you need to focus on having that business sense because people will try to take advantage of you. In anything that is creative, it is so much easier and creates opportunities to take advantage of other people. And what we need to do is take a step back and think in a sense of karma. What energy am I putting out there? Because that's the energy that I'll receive. Now, for some people who are the victim in this situation of other people's choices to do things in a negative way, it's horrible and it does cause people to leave the industry and then go and find something that's more stable or secure. And I feel terrible for your friend and I'm sorry that you didn't pursue it either. What I would recommend though is if you really love this industry, you got to stick with it. Whatever the ups and downs are, you got to stay on that road. You can't veer off and go in another direction. If you really want to make it in this industry, you have to put 120% in. You have to be the first one to arrive on set. You have to be the last one to leave set. You have to help every department. You have to do whatever you can because it's when you do that and you really prove yourself that people will respect you. I'm not saying that your friend didn't do this because I'm sure he did, but what I would recommend is just persistence. You have to keep trying, you have to keep failing, you have to keep moving forward, and you will find that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. That much I could promise you. It just depends if you're willing to stay in the race long enough. And for a lot of people, that's not the case. It is difficult. It's the same amongst any creative field. I used to come from professional wrestling. Most people break their necks and still want to come back and wrestle. It's just that level of persistence and that level of dedication will get you there. Otherwise, I am sorry to hear that. And there you have it for this week's episode where we were going over comments, concerns, questions, anything that I received from our Facebook page, our Instagram, our YouTube comments. So what I would like to do is challenge you. If you have any other questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them on future episodes. I think from this day forward, we're going to start doing Mondays in this form because I think it's more interesting than just talking about news that you could certainly Google without a question of a doubt. So anyway, leave a comment down below with any questions so we could talk about it next week. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button because it helps with the YouTube algorithm. And in the meantime, my name is Brandon Ascari from Ascari Digital's Content Creator Academy, and I will see ya!